Australia has deviated from the US in its support of the International Criminal Court's arrest warrants of the Israeli Prime Minister and Hamas. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese had previously declined comment on the ICC's push for the arrests.
Well, I don't comment on court processes in Australia, let alone court processes globally, of which Australia is not a party.
The ICC is accusing Israel and Hamas of committing war crimes. The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade releasing a statement saying Australia respects the ICC and the important role it has in upholding international law. The decision on whether to issue arrest warrants is a matter for the court in the independent exercise of its functions. The reaction has been very different from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing the ICC of endangering democracy. He claims it is completely false and slander to turn the world against Israel, agreeing with US President Joe Biden, calling the warrants beyond outrageous. The Israeli PM spoke to CNN. He argues he is facilitating wellness for civilians in Gaza.
This is completely false. It's the kind of slander that has been leveled at the Jewish people for ages, and it's renewed now against the Jewish state. It was false then, it's false now. But one thing, this prosecutor, this rogue prosecutor, didn't even bother to come here. He said he'd come here to check the facts. He didn't check the facts. He just went out and demonized the Jewish state.
Support for the Victorian government has fallen to the lowest level in 3 years, according to data from Political Monitoring. Resolve, I should say. If an election were held today, this is what it would look like. Labor at 28% of primary, Coalition 37%. Now, there's no two-party preferred, but remember, 37% was what Labor got last time at the election. That got them 55% two-party preferred and a solid majority. So you're looking at that swing 9% primary. That would deliver an election loss if replicated. The Premier Jacinta Allen does remain as the preferred leader over the opposition's John Pesutto. Well, an immigration detainee charged with murder was released before doing so. The 29-year-old is accused of stabbing a 22-year-old on May 22nd. It's been revealed he was released by the Administrative Appeals Tribunal last month because he was deemed low risk of reoffending. In a separate case, a Burundi-born man was handed a suspended sentence after breaching curfew. It's despite revelations he had already been convicted of other crimes since he was released last year. Well, a passenger has died on board a Singapore Airlines flight which struck an air pocket and encountered turbulence. The Boeing 777 carrying 211 passengers, including 56 Australians and 18 crew members as well, made an emergency landing in Bangkok. A 73-year-old British man died, likely of a heart attack. That's according to the information from airport officials. The plane reportedly tilted upwards and began experiencing severe turbulence, 7 passengers being treated for critical injuries. Dozens of others have been taken to nearby hospitals. Former US President Donald Trump has taken down a post from Truth Social. It included a reference to a unified Reich. The post portrayed a positive vision for the country should the Republican presidential candidate defeat Joe Biden in November. It had hypothetical newspaper headlines. The current president and a few of his team commented on this part. See the part in black? Unified Reich. Of course, as Joe Biden says, this is Hitler's language, not America's. The Third Reich is what the Nazi regime was known as.